Ever heard someone share honestly about their debt? Today, we're not gonna lie. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of NGL where we talk about the things in life that matter. My name is Natasha and today we are here with a very interesting episode. I am personally very excited because I think of all our episodes, this may be one of our most, not gonna lie, conversations where we talk very honestly about something that people don't often talk about with such explicit details. So today we want to talk about debt. To help me today, right, I actually have a friend here. Her name is Geraldine. And Geraldine's here to listen to these stories and also help to really just join in this conversation. She was here for 2 of our previous episodes on emotions and nostalgia. If you haven't caught it, you can look for it in our account. And those were fantastic episodes as well. Okay, so today we've got 2 very familiar faces. You've been here for our episodes also. So why not you begin by telling us your name as well as how many years you've been in debt?
I'm Jesslyn. I'm in debt since 2021.
Hello everybody, my name is Yi Qin. I have been in debt since 20 years old after poly, and I'm now 34, and I'm still in debt.
Oh no!
You're still in debt. Okay, I have to say right that I know them both personally lah, but I've never heard this part of your life because like I think maybe in a society like Singapore also, it's not something that you really just talk very openly about. Yeah, sometimes there's also a bit of shame to admit that you're financially in lack, right? But today we want to talk about it. And we just wanted to say that if you are in a situation like that where debt is something that's very familiar to you for various reasons, we hope that listening to an episode like that would give you some courage to know that you're not alone. And as you see 2 people share very openly and vulnerably about their experiences also, we hope it breaks a little bit of that shame to know that as we navigate our adulthood, different people really go through different experiences and what is more important is that we just figure out where we're at and how we can move forward. Let's start off with you guys telling us the total amount of debt that you're in.
I had my poly loan. That was 9k, about there, which I've paid for already. And then now I'm in my uni loan debt, which is total of 25k. So that's
34.
Quick math.
34k.
Yes.
Wow, first time somebody said that to me.
Myself, 9k poly loan. Then uni, previously I had, I think 27k as well. HDB loan, I think I got 300,000. Reno loan, so that was also, I think 20k.
Okay.
So I think by the age, when I was 29, I had 350,000 loan. Yeah.
Jesslyn is shocked.
Hopefully he won't get that. Yeah.
Did it feel real to you or does it feel like monopoly?
Actually, I didn't even realize that I had this amount of loan. Like it was only like for this episode, I was like calculating and like how much did I like clock up. Then I realized that that was quite a fair bit by 29.
You've just been paying.
Yeah, just like you just knew you have to pay and then pay and then.
I think because you all only have shared the numbers, right?
Yeah.
But behind those numbers is a story of what happened and also how did you all go through it as you're paying it off. And I think that's really what we want to hear from you guys today.
Yeah.
So how did you guys end up where you're at?
I guess it's family circumstances that sort of got me on this path. So I think my parents divorced when I was 16 after O levels, right? Then so thereafter, they sold the house, and my mom, she had to single-handedly like sort of brought us up. So I remember like she had to work odd jobs and 2 jobs a day. Then I think one day I just received a letter telling me that I need to pay back my poly education fee. Then I was like, huh? Poly? I mean, okay, it's a bit dull question, but poly, I need to pay one. I need to pay. So then after that, I tried to find out more. Then I realized that is using my parents' CPF.
Your mom's
my mom's CPF, provided she have enough in her CPF. But she didn't have enough CPF.
Right.
So therefore, I need to pay back.
I mean, when you mentioned, need to pay, then we all laugh. But I'm imagining if you received that letter at that point, it's such a shock, right?
I think I'm surprised first. I think the shock came after when I realized that, oh, I really bopian have to pay. Like, what have I gotten myself into? But I guess after that, like entering to preparing for uni, I know that, okay, I know that my mom would not be able to support me.
Yeah.
So I know I had to, if I want to further my study, I need to get into loans.
That was bank loan?
That was originally, it was supposed to be bank loan of 28K. But I think my relatives, they sort of heard about our situation. So it's a mixture of family and bank. Right. I think army and maybe during uni, I managed to clear off my poly, 9K kind of poly loan.
Yeah.
Then once I start work, then it's a bit never ending kind. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, clear already. Oh,
Next
another
loan.
one. Yeah, next loan.
Did you manage to clear your uni loans before taking a housing loan?
No. By 26, 27, I realized that, I'm going to get married. I'm going to get a house.
Oh, you did wedding plus house at the same time?
Oh, yeah. So, yes. So, that very same year, 2019, I had my house and my wedding within the same year. So, because of that, while I hold off my uncle's loan for my uni, I realized that I need reno loan.
Yeah.
So that was like 10K. Actually, I think it was 25. I think in total for wedding and reno together, we needed extra fund. So 10K was bank loan. Then after that, we wanted to take further loans, but then one of my friend realized that, hey, it's not the wisest to take another bank loan with your existing loan situation. So
Right.
he extended a 15K loan to me.
Wow.
So for those who are not watching us on video, Jesslyn gave a face.
The face is still on her face.
I cannot imagine having to live through loans after loans.
It's like, wow, you're saying the anxiety is growing on her face.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, as of now, I still have my HDB loan. I'm glad to say that as of 2022, 2 years back, at 32, I finally clear off those like
Wow.
uncle loan, whatever loans,
Okay.
like those that really you owe people money, and bank I paid those already. So it's just HDB.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear Jesslyn's story.
Okay, my story is upon graduation, I was just doing internship, waiting for uni to start. Then I received a letter from CPF that I need to pay off this amount for the education loan thing. Then I'm like, since when I took a loan for education? I went to
shocked and
Google,
surprised.
Google CPF, then they have like a few articles about it, but I couldn't really understand. So I went around asking my friends, like, hey, like, do you all receive this letter? You need to pay off your poly loan. No, don't have it. Oh, so it's just me. Like, okay, I guess I'm in debt. So yeah, so that's how it started. So then I was doing part-time job lah. So then I will make sure that I give as much like shift as I can, while at the same time like make sure I have time to like rest, catch up with my friends and stuff like that. Whatever I earn that month, I will portion I think a good 70% to loans.
Wow.
Then the rest I leave off for my expenses lah.
And I guess, I mean, at that stage, you had just graduated poly for 1 year.
Yes.
And I'm sure you didn't really know much about CPF.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So what's CPF? So it was really tough. Okay, so I did retail. Okay, that whole period I was very tight about how much I spend, because I budget in a way that every day I have a certain amount to spend. So if I spend more than this amount this day, then means I will have lesser the next day. So when I do work full shifts, right, means I need to settle like lunch and dinner outside, right?
Yeah.
So I will think like, okay, if I buy this particular meal, can I eat for 2 meals? So that I don't need to spend extra, whether or not it's within the amount also. Yeah. So I started having this like habit when I look at money, I am calculating in my head how much do I have left then for the month. Yeah. So even until now, I have like this like expense tracker, right? So then I will see like, okay, today I spend a bit more for lunch. Then the next few days is either I don't eat lunch or I eat something cheaper. Yeah.
Do you remember what was your daily budget?
So it depends on the pay I have from the previous month.
Okay.
After minusing off the loan, right? Then I will have, on good days, I have 550. On bad days, I have like 320-ish
For 2 meals?
For a day. Yeah. So I really wanted to like clear my loan. Yeah. So I choose
went
not to.
extreme a bit, right?
I choose not to eat certain meals so that I can save lah.
Could you go out with friends in that period of time?
Yes. I still celebrate my friend's birthday and everything. So I need to count like, okay, if this month I have this amount, this person's birthday, that person's birthday, can I meet this person on another month instead so that I can use that month's budget?
Okay.
Yeah. Or I will also think like, okay, this, for example, like January or December, a lot more meetups, right? Because it's Christmas, Chinese New Year. So I will plan to give more shifts so that I got more income so that I can use it for the next month. So means November, I will work a lot harder for December.
How did this sense of like, always having to count how much money you have, how did that affect you?
Very calculative. Like for example, if I help like a friend to buy a drink and then it costs me $2, do I want to ask the person to return me the $2? Or am
Yes,
I okay
you need
to
to.
risk that $2 so that I can bless the person? I am a lot more okay to spend on like meals with people because it's like birthday or like stuff like that. Then I will plan for my own personal meals to be a bit more like
cheaper lah.
cheaper. Yeah.
After your poly loan, you had uni loan. Can you
Yes.
share a bit more about that?
Okay, initially after poly, right? So I wanted to study something different from my diploma. So when it's different, that means it's more expensive because I cannot like map over some of the modules, right? So it's 50K. I asked my parents like, oh, okay, I want to study this course at this school. Can we afford? Yeah, and then they said, yeah, go ahead. Okay, woohoo. Then I went with my friends, enrolled to the school, and then we are like counting down to the day we will like be classmates again, that kind of thing. So about 1 month before the school commenced, then I received a letter saying that I need to pay this amount for school fees before I can start school. So then I went back to my parents and I said, oh, okay, I need this amount. It was when they said, oh, actually, they cannot afford my uni.
How did you feel about that situation?
I was very shocked. One is like, okay, at the moment I need to think, okay, where am I going to find 50K to go to school? And then another one is like, oh, like, what happened? Like, why we cannot afford 50K? She said that like, they're also in debt for a certain like financial decision that they made a few years ago. But I grew up thinking that we were quite okay, like we were quite comfortable. Yeah, because the allowance that I receive is like, actually is higher than most of my friends. Yeah, so then why are we in debt? Like, yeah. So
Like there
then,
were no signs from the way y'all were living, is it?
yeah. It's just no. It has been the same since like I was young until now. Then suddenly, like when I want to do uni, then then it was exposed that my family is actually not doing as okay. So when they couldn't afford my uni, then I was one is I'm very, very sad that I cannot go to the school and the course that I wanted to study. I think this particular course I wanted to do is the first time I ever wanted to do something for my life. Like I really wanted to study this. Yeah, and then when it happened, I just like, actually I don't think I deserve it. Let me just withdraw out of school. So I just like, okay, let me withdraw and then let me properly think what's the next step. And secondly is, oh my gosh, I've been living a lie. Like, am I just delulu? Like that I didn't know this is happening in my family. So that's why I took a unintentional gap year. And yeah.
So how do you eventually resolve this university issue?
Yeah. So I took a gap year to continue working, part-time retail and then part-time internship. I was telling like this my mentor that like, okay, this situation I'm thinking to withdraw. So then he had a conversation with the wife. So then the wife was just sharing like, she's a Christian. So then she had her own prayer time with God. And then that was when God spoke to her about being generous. Nothing specific, just generous. So then at that moment, then they talked about what he heard from me. Yeah. So then that's when they started calculating their expenses. And then they decided to meet me together for lunch. And then they said they want to pay for my uni. okay, I mean, at the moment, I just like, I cannot believe because, yeah,
Huge.
I
Like, why
I
would
don't know.
anyone do that, right?
yeah. So at the moment, I was in shock. So then I went back, I think about the different options I have. I went back to them and I say, okay, I'm going to do this course. Then it's 25K. And then they're like, okay. The next moment I know is like, she paid for my, the wife paid for my enrollment,
Oh my goodness.
the school fees, everything. Then I started school in January. Yeah, but they were very, very, very nice about it. They told me that as I'm schooling, I do not need to pay any single cent
Wow.
back. Yeah. When I graduated from uni, then they said, then I asked them, okay, I can pay off now because I'm working. So then they said, okay, can. But they kept it at 10% of my pay every month. Then I'm like, I cannot pay more than that. Like I think I can because I did
Coming
that.
from you were trying to, you were using like 70% of your pay previously.
I did that for my poly loan. I can pay
true.
more than that. I can. So then they said, no, don't. Cap it at 10%. Then they say, just enjoy adulting, go and travel, go and save up.
My goodness.
What? Like, okay. Then I really take that word for it. And then the last 3 years, I'm just traveling and then just enjoying and stuff like that. Of course, save also lah. Then I've decided. So this year, then I decided, okay, I want to start to properly look at my savings, but I cannot really count properly with the loans. So then I decided, okay, I will pay back my loans a bit more next year.
How do you feel receiving this I mean, quite big sum and quite generous loan in terms of the conditions?
Yes, I mean, in fact, every year I always ask them, you really don't need the money? Because they like got married and then they had kids after kids. And then I'm just like, you don't need this 25K? Yeah, and then like, no, okay. Yeah. I had to trust their heart for me. And I also had to trust that they know what they're doing. Yeah, so I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you feel bad like in that 5 years then you get to like enjoy a bit more?
Yes. Yeah, like every time I like, I'm going overseas again. Then I was like, but I'm still in debt. And then so
I sort of echo that because I think it's a weird space to be in. On one hand, on our side, to receive that love, to feel loved, but also at the same time feel, I don't know, feel bad.
Exactly.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
like, I think someone asked me like, do you feel like during my loan period, like, do I feel bad to enjoy life? I think to some extent, yes, because it's like, do I really deserve?
yeah.
Yeah, there's that guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another question. Does it feel bad to be the one in need of help?
I feel like it's a mixed bag of things. I think on one hand, I feel really thankful and grateful. And mom, if you're listening, yes, I'm very grateful. I really am grateful because I know how difficult it is to hold 2 jobs, day and night, and even on the weekends. I know how tired she was every night she comes back home last time. So, because we sort of shared a bedroom because we were staying in my uncle's house, right? So I'm extremely grateful for how hard she worked and how she provided for the family. But I think at the same time, if I could be honest, I think there were also resentment to some extent. Not exactly towards her, but towards the situation.
Yeah.
Right? Of how come people don't have to pay back poly loans? But someone like that, poly 小孩, you know, and then like how come people have parents to provide for their uni, you know, like they don't have to incur uni loans, but how come I have to poly plus uni together? And I have to, you know, receive like the mercy of my relatives, you know, and my friends and not have enough. So after moving out of my uncle's house, we were staying in a government rented flat for I think a good 10, 12 years. So that there still is rental to be paid. So when my mom fell sick, we had to tank that.
You
even
graduated already or still studying?
last year of my army.
Okay.
Yeah, that this happened.
Is this something that you talk about with the people in your life?
Not really. I mean, generally being in debt and having debt is not something nice to share about.
Yeah.
No one will go on IG and, hey, I have so much loan.
I think especially the borrow money from people kind of.
Yeah.
Given that you spoke about marriage, right? Then at the point where you were with your girlfriend and then y'all were considering marriage, was this something you felt bad to, or that was very difficult to navigate?
Actually, I didn't really realize the situation that I'm in was very bad until she came to the picture. And when we talk about our finances, right? Then I think she was a bit shocked. Like, what did I get myself into? Because I think for her, I think she came from quite an okay family. So I think when she looked at my finances, look at the loans that I clocked up, and she's like, you have quite a fair bit of loan. So I think she was quite shocked. I think when she made those comments, then I realized that, so this is not common. Then I feel bad that, did I just drag someone into my mud? Yeah.
Were there fears that her parents would say stuff about it?
You sort of would understand every parents want their daughter to be married to a
Comfortable life.
comfortable life. So I'm concerned back then, how would the parents feel about all these things, I'm a single parent family, we live in a rented flat. And I think a lot of things, like even preparing the house, like getting the house, or like doing the wedding, generally parents, sometimes they are quite generous or they want to bless, and all this. But I think I always receive it at arm's length, or I sort of tell my wife, can we not? I don't want the parents to feel that, Yi cannot provide and therefore we need to do this, or to be in a situation whereby they will ask then Yi side, what are they giving, what are they doing? Then it will, the comparison will be even more and I'll feel even worse.
Actually, I'm curious, I think you all have really shared, I feel like you all bet so much of your life. Then actually, to agree to come on a podcast like that and to talk about these, to talk so openly about your debt, what made you all want to share this on this podcast?
I think for me, I recognize that the journey has taught me a lot of things. One is to budget well, and then actually meal prep saves a lot of money. I think it's that beauty of the journey that got me hey, actually, it's like life right? It's tough, but then there's still beautiful things that can happen in the process.
What were some of your learning points?
Wow, I think my pain was more of realizing actually my family is not doing okay. Then that's why I have to live this life that calculate every single thing, everything like that. But then I think as I look back, I think one of the big learning I had was that actually even in my lack, I can still give. A few times I went to India to visit some of the churches there, and then we also go on the villages, go on the street to see and just talk to the people. And then I think one thing that caught and hit me the most was when actually, in the villages, people are really in lack and in poverty, right? But yet they received us so happily and they gave whatever they had. They will give us soft drinks. Soft drinks very expensive in the village, but they will buy bottles, right, just to serve us drinks. They would serve us food and everything like that. Then to me, I felt a bit wow, okay, yes, also in lack. Yeah, likely same, just different situation, right? Different circumstances. But in lack, they gave. And to me, I was actually, I can give too. So then one thing that I learned is that in my budgeting, every month, I set aside $100 for blessing. So anything, it can be buy someone a drink, a $2 drinks, or buy someone a bubble tea, or or in fact it's a birthday celebration. Then that comes from that pool of money But at least I've set aside this amount that I will give to people, even though I have loans to pay, even though I don't have a lot, but I can still give. Yeah, so I think that taught me and reminds me every day that I am blessed so that I can give.
I think I was a bit hesitant because I think once again these are not
Yeah.
very 光彩, not very nice things to share in public. But I guess there could be a purpose to whatever that went through, and there could be people, watching this video, listening to this podcast that may have gone through similar situation and have similar relationship with loans and debts and everything. So I thought, awareness and I guess to let people know that they're not alone. And I remember like last time when I was working in one of my company, right? Because it was a non-profit organization, and then the bosses wanted to let people experience what the beneficiary sort of went through. So they did a poverty workshop to simulate, how would someone living in poverty make life decision, and experience like how helpless, it is. And then when I went through this whole thing, I realized I think I teared a bit. May not really be considered poverty. Like I'm not really, but I think I teared a bit because I felt empathy. I felt like I could understand perhaps what my mom went through, what the family went through, or like it's actually certain situation that they mentioned. I was like, this felt like my family. Like this felt like what we have to go through. And then through the workshop, I think my colleagues, they were saying that, wow, I didn't know that, people had to live this way, like they are, because I think sometimes people are so quick to judge when people hear that, people are clocking out so much loan. And maybe people, when they're listening to this, they were like, then you maybe shouldn't have gone to uni. You all should just, after poly, go and work. Why take such loans? And, I guess, I mean, it's true. It's a legit, argument. But I mean, there are different beliefs, there are different experiences. And I think hopefully this podcast give people that space to identify and understand different people do have different life experiences.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, then I'm wondering, right, given that y'all are regularly paying loans, but capped at a certain amount. So technically, you can up that amount and pay more if you want, right? Then do y'all feel guilty to be enjoying nice things?
Yes. I set a limit to my enjoyment, I guess.
You should, you don't anyhow splurge lah.
I enjoy according to how much I budgeted for. Yeah.
Which would, in that or not, is a good principle to have lah.
Yes.
I think one of the conversations I was having with my friends is that sometimes like when there isn't that intentional budgeting and we're just kind of guided by like our appetite or our consumption patterns, you may possibly find yourself in quite a dangerous position where every time you have not enough, you just think of ways to increase your money. Like either like side hustle, change job or whatever, right? But actually we never really consider like managing the appetite and the desire, Like if let's say I'm earning a certain income and I just cannot afford some locations as holidays, or I can't afford buying certain brands, then is it really so bad that I cannot have it? Like maybe just live within my means and in some sense aim for things that I can afford comfortably and won't cause me to be in debt or in deficit,
But I get though, like the desire to really want to enjoy. It's I really want that loan and I cannot wait until I finish my loan. I need it now, or that kind of thing. Then I need to make sure that the following month, I don't spend as much. So there are some months that I actually burst the budget. Like I used to beat myself for it. Yeah, like I used to count every single cent. But then I realized actually it's okay to see a bit of rates, like overspend. But then just need to manage properly.
Tracking does make you a bit more conscious of what you're spending. And that sort of limits lah. But I totally agree with what you're saying. What you just mentioned about, can we live
with contentment?
With contentment. But I think it's a real struggle, right? When you open your IG, your TikTok,
media.
your Xiaohongshu, like wow, people is Japan, Korea, China, this bag, that bag, and I think it's a real struggle. But it's about how to live with contentment and how to manage your finance wisely.
Or maybe also I feel the frequency of enjoyment. Like it's not that you can't have nice things at all, but maybe you cannot have nice things so often. Yes. And is that okay? Yeah. Like if I can't afford to take a holiday to Europe like all the time. You know, I can't like do a Europe tour, but I can save up so that maybe 5 years later I can do one nice holiday to Europe. Is that okay for me lah? Do I need to necessarily feel so poorly about my situation just because I cannot live in luxury at the intensity that I want to live at? Yeah. So actually this one, right, my mom told me something quite interesting, because after we like planned our wedding, I really felt very, very poor. Then we were considering going to Italy for our honeymoon, but like obviously like we already spent a lot of money. So I was just like randomly talking to my mom, I was like, "Aiya, so sad, we got no money, if not can go Italy." Then she just looked at me and said, "You know Italy won't run away one." Like, true Then in the end, right, we got married at the COVID peak and Italy was going crazy. So I was like, thank you for my mother's wisdom. Let me go to Bali now. But it's true lah. I mean, some of these things, I mean, it doesn't apply to everything, but some of these things, especially let's say travel or what, it's okay to save up for it and have it sometime down the road. It's not something that we necessarily need to have now. And if others can have it now, good for them lah. But if that's not your situation, then okay lor, I work with what I have lah.
And I think learning contentment in our young adult is so helpful. Yeah, because the fact that because I have to go through this, then I had to learn what contentment look like, right? After I finish my shift, the retail work shift and everything, then I take the bus home. Then I always feel very like self-pity, like play my own pity party. Life's so tough. Like, what am I doing? Why do I have to go through all these things? Then compare to other people, why people have it a lot easier, that kind of thing. Then eventually I had to learn this beautiful thing called contentment, where actually what I have is not too bad lah. Like, I still get to go uni. I don't have what other people had, but I still have enough and I still can enjoy what I have. So I think contentment, not in the eyes of others, my life, actually I have sufficient. Yeah, and then learning that before I started working has then taught me what kind of job to choose. You know, like, does the pay really make a huge difference? So then a lot of people question me now, like, actually, why I choose this particular job over another? Because what I'm doing now, actually, I just earn average pay lah. Yeah. And then to them it's like you can earn so much more outside, that kind of thing. But to me it's like, I think it's sufficient. Like, I think I am contented with this amount, and I don't find a huge desire to want to have more. I mean, of course, I have those days I like, I want that bag that person have also. But then actually, I have a good bag too, you know? Yeah, so I think then learning contentment has taught me and shaped the way I live my life into adulthood. Yeah, that certain choices I make in terms of the work I do, is it meaningful, purposeful? I can think more of that instead of how much is it paying me. Yeah, then when I go for celebrating my friends, instead of thinking how much it will cost in the end, I can be contented with the amount that I already have and the love I have for my friends and give.
I wonder how easy it is for young people these days to sort of cultivate the value of self-control and contentment. Right? Because I think we live in an age and time whereby it's so easy to compare. And if but I think these are really important values, and perhaps for us, we came from a certain we were put in a situation whereby we had to learn it early. But it's quite difficult, right? Especially like once you enter the workforce, and depending on what industry you are in, you will start saying, wow, the bags that people are carrying, the places people are traveling to, and you'll be like, wow, I want that. I need it. You tell yourself you need it. Yeah, so I think it's important to sort of cultivate that earlier on. Yeah.
So the thought I had while she was sharing, right, is that I think a large part of contentment is your perspective, as cliche as it sounds. Like, it's what you focus on, ma. Are you going to live your life focusing on what other people have? And then you allow that to dictate for you what you want. You may have a lot of things in the end, but I feel like you're very not original. You just copy other people's life. Whatever other people want, then you want. Then your life just look like everybody else's life, but very not unique. Okay, I mean, that's a very lame way of saying it. But you know, like how much of what you want actually is really what you want? Or it's because everybody have, and then it's a status symbol, and like, actually that bag you really think very nice, or because everybody have and it's cool to have. As in very real thoughts, what? Like, if I don't, like, very real story, there was this new bag that was launched, right? Then I saw it on first glance, I was like, oh my gosh, so cute. And I really wanted to buy. Then actually, I never buy on the day of the launch, right? 2 weeks later, another new bag came out. I was like, oh my gosh, this bag's so cute. I actually maybe want to buy this instead. And then in the end, I never buy both bags. And my life, okay. Honestly, like 4 weeks after the first bag launch, I never think about the bag already.
That's true.
But if on the day itself, like I have a habit of buying myself everything my heart so desires, now I got 2 new bags. And maybe more bags in the months to come. You know, so I feel like, to me actually, I don't think the goal is really like, oh, this is an appropriate amount of spending or what. I think everybody can decide for himself how much you really want to spend on your life to make your life comfortable, what comfortable even really means. To me, what is more important is that intention behind your spending and the thoughtfulness. Like whether you're going to, and thoughtfulness depends on what's important to you, you know? Like, are you concerned with your status? Are you concerned with how people perceive your material possessions? Are you concerned with the ethics of consumerism? Some people are really concerned with like, I'd rather buy an expensive dress over a cheap dress because of the manufacturing process. If that is what is important to you, then sure, go ahead. But I think what is important is that we don't just like have a herd mentality that is very driven by discontentment, by comparison, by just wanting everything that other people have because we think that that is what makes us like important or like approved of, having made it. You know, to me, that's just not how I would like to live. I would like to at least decide for myself what I like. And even if I spend a lot of money, at least I spend money on what I like, not what other people say I should like. Yeah. So that's it for me.
I'm curious about Geraldine. Like, I mean, in your line of work, you're in the social work sector. You work with people of different backgrounds. You know, like what's your thoughts and even how you generally like share with your clients even?
Yeah, I think actually the stories that you guys have shared are very similar situations to what some of the families that I'm working with, they are going through as well. And I like I can't remember which of you said it just now, but you all mentioned how sometimes debt and financial situations, of course, maybe there's certain individual components, but also it's just a lot that life has dealt you with. And it's a mix of both, right? Sometimes it's really just, just learning how to deal with that, the lot that you have been given with. How do you cope with it? And how do you also find contentment, right? And I think when you guys were discussing about contentment, I was just thinking that actually no matter which socio-economic status you're in, whether you are, in really bad financial situation or you are living a life of luxury, chasing the next holiday and the next branded item, actually, contentment is a lesson that we all have to learn. Yeah, for those who, maybe are not doing so well, or maybe it can create, like I think Jesslyn said also, like a lot of self-pity, a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness towards life. But then for the people there, it's like, what does it mean to count our blessings, to be contented with what we have? Because life is always full of sorrow and joy. It's always both, right? And then for the people who are living great financial lives and have a lot, it's still like a comparison game, There's always something more. There's always the next bag, the next launch, the next holiday. But what does it mean to be content rather than needing more and more and more? How do you be finally at ease, finally happy, finally content? It's such an important life lesson that you all have pointed out. I think to wrap up, I really want to say a big thank you to both of you. I mean, I think at the start, Nata said this is one of the most not gonna lie kind of story where you really just share something so honestly that, I mean, I think people don't ever talk about it, sometimes even with our closest friends or family, about debt issues, financial issues. But the honest truth is that there are a lot of people out there going through things like this. Maybe similar to your situation or different, but just, different kinds of situations. And I think hearing your story would probably be so encouraging to them. And to wrap up, do you all have any final words you want to say to whoever might be listening?
Okay, my final words. Take it a day at a time. 一天过一天. Yeah, because it sounds slightly jaded, but then I think to me it was a huge encouragement also that the sun will rise again. The new day will come again where I will have new set of budget, it's in daily budget, right? So I have a new set of income. I will still have enough to fend for myself. I will still have enough to give to others. I will still have enough, just nice, to be full, or to go on with my life. And then the day will end and the new day will come again. So I guess, don't know whether this sounds very fluffy, but I guess it's just to take a step at a time, plan a step at a time, and you will find your way at the end eventually. Yeah.
Last words. I think I just want to say to those who are listening or watching that I know that sometimes it can really feel like a lonely journey. It can sometimes even feel like an endless kind of journey. But today, I just hope that it brings some comfort, that you are not alone. There are people whom you can reach out to for wisdom. A bit of hope that it can get better. It can get better. And if you're watching and you are a person of faith and you believe that there is a God in this world, He takes care of the birds in the air, He takes care of the flowers in the field, and He loves you and He will take care of you. You may not have a lot, but I think God provides you with what you need. And I think that's enough for us to live in a way that is, contented. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your stories, for giving us such great advice as people who have personally walked through it and lived through it. So we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I thoroughly enjoyed the vulnerability in this place because I'm not the one spilling secrets. Just kidding. No, but because I think you guys are very brave for coming here and sharing such personal details. To be honest, we don't really know what people will think or what they will make of the stuff that we share here. But I hope that at least for our listeners and our audience, we remember that everybody has their own stories and we can be good listeners without necessarily being too judgmental or critical about the journey that they're on. And if you're listening to this and you are in such a difficult situation, we hope that you found some hope and encouragement through this. If you know somebody who is going through a situation like that and you never knew the right words to say, maybe this could be an episode that you could send to them to just encourage them. And if you would like to find out more about other adulting topics that we talk about, you can look for them in our channel. We have our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And you can find us on socials as well, on Instagram and TikTok at ngl.people. We have a Telegram channel where we share behind the scenes footage. And we also share information about our upcoming parties where we gather with one another to go through adulting together and hopefully find some friends as well. And so once again, thank you for joining us on this episode. If you have your own stories that you want to share, drop it in our comments, drop us a DM, and we would be more than happy to just lend a listening ear as well. So thank you for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!